A revolutionary approach to temporal mechanics beyond the timeline. For generations, humanity has been captivated by the concept of time travel, yet our collective imagination has remained trapped within the confines of linear thinking. We envision DeLoreans racing back to 1955, or heroes stepping through portals to ancient civilizations, always along that familiar, singular thread we call the timeline. But what if this fundamental assumption has been our greatest limitation? Traditional time travel models inevitably lead us into paradoxical dead ends. The grandfather paradox haunts every backward journey, while the butterfly effect threatens to unravel causality itself. These aren't mere philosophical curiosities, they're warning signs that our linear approach to temporal mechanics may be fundamentally flawed. Perhaps it's time to abandon the highway of sequential moments and explore the vast landscape that lies beyond our one-dimensional understanding of time. Lateral shifts, the multiverse next door. Enter the concept of lateral shifts, a revolutionary paradigm that reimagines time travel not as movement along a timeline, but as instantaneous jumps across parallel realities. Instead of racing through centuries at impossible speeds or requiring the energy output of entire stars, lateral shifting operates on the principle that infinite variations of reality exist simultaneously, separated by the thinnest dimensional membranes. Picture reality not as a single thread, but as an infinite tapestry where each fiber represents a slightly different version of existence. In one strand, you chose coffee over tea this morning. In another, dinosaurs never went extinct. In yet another, the laws of physics themselves operate with subtle variations. Lateral shifting allows consciousness to hop between these closely woven realities, selecting destinations based on desired outcomes rather than specific temporal coordinates. This approach elegantly sidesteps the grandfather paradox entirely. Kill your grandfather in a laterally shifted reality? You haven't altered your own timeline, you've simply moved to a reality where that grandfather never existed in relation to your current existence. The original timeline continues undisturbed, while you explore the consequences of change in a parallel space. It's temporal tourism without the existential baggage. Alternating currents, the pulsating nature of reality, but lateral shifts represent only half of this revolutionary framework. The second component involves alternating currents, the recognition that reality itself pulses with periods of stability interspersed with moments of temporal flux. Like electrical currents that flow in alternating patterns, the fabric of spacetime experiences rhythmic fluctuations that create windows of opportunity for dimensional transitions. During stable periods, reality maintains its coherent structure, experiences unfold predictably, and the barriers between parallel dimensions remain firm. But during flux periods, those fleeting moments when the universe seems to shimmer with possibility, the boundaries become permeable. These are the natural, flicker effects where reality briefly reveals its malleable nature, allowing for subtle but profound changes to slip through the cracks of causality. This pulsating model finds remarkable resonance with quantum mechanics, where uncertainty principles and probabilistic wave functions already suggest that reality exists in a state of constant potential rather than fixed actuality. The alternating currents of temporal flux might represent the macroscopic expression of quantum uncertainty, moments when the universe's probabilistic nature briefly surfaces at scales we can perceive and potentially manipulate. The practicalities and dangers of non-linear travel. Navigating this new temporal landscape requires sophisticated mapping techniques that go far beyond simple chronological coordinates. Instead of plotting destinations in terms of years and dates, lateral shift navigation demands probability matrices and dimensional proximity calculations. Travelers must learn to read the subtle signatures that distinguish one reality from another, the cosmic fingerprints that reveal whether they've arrived in a universe where Napoleon won at Waterloo or where the internet was invented in 1901. The ripple effects of lateral shifting present their own unique challenges. While traditional time travel risks creating paradoxes that might unravel a single timeline, lateral shifts risk what might be called dimensional contamination, the accidental introduction of elements from one reality into another, potentially destabilizing both. A seemingly minor shift might cascade through dimensional boundaries, creating unforeseen consequences that propagate across multiple parallel realities simultaneously. Consider the ethical implications. If consciousness can freely navigate between realities, what responsibility do we bear for the versions of ourselves we leave behind? What about the inhabitants of realities we visit? Do they deserve protection from our temporal tourism? The power to laterally shift carries with it the weight of potentially infinite consequences across countless versions of existence. Our place in the temporal fabric. Perhaps the most profound implication of this non-linear approach to time involves questioning our own temporal stability. Are we actually experiencing constant, microscopic lateral shifts without conscious awareness? Those moments are déjà vu, the strange sense that something has changed in familiar environments, the inexplicable feeling that history doesn't quite match our memories. Might these be evidence of our consciousness naturally drifting between closely related realities? This perspective reframes human existence as a journey not through time, but through the probability space of infinite potential realities. Each decision, each random quantum event, each butterfly's wing beat might trigger a subtle lateral shift, guiding our consciousness along a path through the multiverse that feels linear only because we lack the perspective to perceive the dimensional transitions occurring around us constantly. The future of temporal exploration lies not in building time machines that require exotic matter and paradox-inducing energies, but in developing technologies that can detect, map, and eventually control these natural lateral shifts. Advanced artificial intelligence systems capable of processing vast probability matrices, combined with quantum computing architectures that operate according to the same probabilistic principles underlying reality itself, may hold the keys to unlocking deliberate dimensional navigation. Embracing the non-linear future as we stand on the threshold of this new understanding, we must prepare ourselves for a reality far stranger and more beautiful than our linear imaginations ever conceived. Time isn't a river flowing in one direction, it's an ocean of infinite possibility, with currents and tides and depths we've only begun to fathom. The future belongs not to those who can travel backward or forward along a single timeline, but to those who can navigate laterally across the infinite variations of what might be. In embracing this non-linear, unpredictable nature of temporal existence, we open ourselves to possibilities that transcend the limitations of sequential thinking and venture into realms where past, present, and future become merely starting points for exploration across the vast landscape of reality itself. The age of linear time travel is ending. The era of dimensional navigation has begun. This exploration represents a fundamental shift in how we conceptualize temporal mechanics, moving beyond the constraints of traditional linear models toward a more sophisticated understanding of reality's true multidimensional nature. As our scientific instruments grow more sensitive and our theoretical frameworks more sophisticated, these concepts may transition from speculative fiction to practical possibility, revolutionizing not just our understanding of time, but our entire relationship with existence itself.